It looks like just when you thought things were beginning to die down following the events of KamehaCon having to reinstate Vic Mignogna at their convention, and which is going to be taking place in Texas next month, many of the social justice warriors took it upon themselves on Twitter to express anger, hatred, and condemning the convention in bringing Vic Mignogna to their event for the fans, as many of the social justice warriors have taken it upon themselves not only to blame the convention, but also blame those that do support Vic Mignogna in having to label them, demonize them, and generalize them by putting them in a specific group just because Vic Mignogna was accused of said actions, which of course accusations don't mean that something is automatically proven without having to have empirical evidence to prove these said causes. As once more before we begin, if you guys are new to this channel and of course love anime and Dragon Ball alongside want to be up to date with all the latest involving Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, Ron Toy, and the entire situation, then be sure to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single upload and to be up to date with all latest news and information, along with checking out and subscribing to my primary channel Unreal and Gaming, where on there we are going to be covering lots of Dragon Ball content, anime, and gaming, so make sure you guys go on ahead and check that channel out over there, alongside following me on Twitter at Unreal and Gaming for all the latest updates, including if you guys have any articles and or pictures to tag me in or share with me, be sure to go on ahead and follow me on Twitter. Now, following the events of Vic Mignogna having to be re-announced for KamehaCon, there have been a lot of people that took it upon themselves on Twitter to be outraged and complain that Vic Mignogna is indeed being brought to conventions, one of which happens to be KamehaCon. Now, I get it. If Vic Mignogna was guilty, if of course we found empirical evidence, irrefutable factual evidence that this man is absolutely guilty in all of the accusations that were appointed against him, then yes, ban Vic Mignogna from every and all conventions. But the fact that people only want to go based off of speculations, but the sheer fact that people are only going based off of hearsay and simply having to go off of the narrative of he said, she said, that kind of a scenario, without going as far as to present any DNA evidence, any photographic evidence, any video evidence of Vic Mignogna doing these said things as he was accused of, for that, a lot of people are upset that this man is going to be attending conventions, making money and meeting his fans, and giving his fans the time they so rightfully paid for in meeting him, as they took it upon themselves in going on Twitter, as most of them went on to state the following, in which of course, as you guys can see on screen, an individual that goes by the name of Nick went on to state, and I quote, "While I know people who are working behind the scenes at the convention to make the experience great for attendees, this is extremely disappointing coming from KamehaCon. Extremely shady from the con backers. A move like this 3 weeks out is a big yikes." As of course he continues, there are ethical issues for him attending this convention, which of course ethics can be argued from a subjective and or objective point of view, but I digress. After all the well-deserved backlash he has received, allowing him to go right back into the Dragon Ball community is a big FU. Well, that's according to you. As it continues, I'm sure there are people who are running this convention that aren't happy about this. Boo-hoo your feelings. As it continues, I can't speak on the technicalities of why he was allowed back in. Well, that's because you don't know. But I presume, assumption, it is something to deal with his legal team backing him, since his lawyer commented on it in the tweets. This isn't right. Conventions are supposed to be a safe place for people. Allowing someone who has allegations of assaulting women and men isn't right. Wow, okay, so now he's assaulting men. As we continue, multiple companies have dropped him, conventions have dropped him, and a great bit of evidence has been shown of his past, which isn't irrefutable factual evidence, it's fabricated evidence, and that has been debunked by so many people. As of course I continue, yet people still admire him and think he's a talented voice actor. Now you're going as far as to discredit his voice acting skills. Very, very classy there, Nick. I'm sorry for the people who are committed on going and simply can't back out of this convention. There should have been more transparency so people could attempt to back out. Simply put, 3 weeks to back out of a convention and quit your reservations isn't enough time. It's a shame. Want to know what else is gross? Kids visit these conventions. Oh no, the children. Think about the children. As this individual that goes by the name of Nick is insinuating the fact that it's very wrong for Vic Mignogna to attend these conventions because the children aren't safe, women aren't safe, and apparently now men aren't safe. So Mr. Nick, I have a question for you. What is it that you propose we do with Vic Mignogna? Do we lock him up? Do we kill him? What is it that you want to do? Of course, an apology isn't good enough for people like you, because of course, as many times as someone would apologize for their actions, you simply would go as far as to deem that not to be good enough for you because you live by a higher standard and you demand for people to bow down and kiss your feet and kiss the ground that you walk on because you are some sort of an angelic god, and thus the world is perfect and nobody makes mistakes. Again, the problem in your statement is the fact that you're going based off of hearsay. It's not the narrative of the fact that you want him gone for your own personal reasons, but you're trying to come up with a justifiable cause in why he is guilty when no evidence has been presented, sir. But then again, we are going to see Vic Mignogna take these individuals to court, and of course once that follows through, we will know whether or not he is guilty or innocent. But I am one to bet that even if he's found innocent through the court of law, people like you would still demonize him and still think that he's a monster and still accuse him of said things. But now you're going as far as to say that conventions are bad for bringing him in. Why? Because they want to cater to their fans and giving them what they paid for? It's not right, and I don't condone anyone to harass Nick or anybody else, but more or less challenge their intellectual stance as to why they say or why they stand with said causes. Of course, this individual here does not want Vic Mignogna to be attending this convention. So my question is, why? Having to stray away from the hearsay narrative, why is it that you want Vic Mignogna gone? And my question originally is, Mr. Nick, what would you like to do with Vic Mignogna? Because it seems like having him fired from his positions, removed from conventions, even apologizing to people isn't good enough. So what is it that we do, Nick? Do we put him to death? Is that what you would propose? Because apparently enough, apologies aren't good. Apparently enough, going to court isn't good. That's disgusting. But of course, as you guys can see, that's one individual among many that don't want Vic Mignogna a part of this convention. It's sad, but what more can you do? That's his opinion. He is entitled to his opinion. It's completely fine. But of course, that's one example. As I would totally agree with Nick, if this individual was proven to be guilty, only then can we all get together and say, no, Vic Mignogna is a monster. He should never attend any convention or have him be a part of anything anime related for having to be proven to be a monster. But being that that's not the case right now, I guess simply by having to point the finger and accusing people, that's our way of justifying things. It's not right. It's simply not right. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens when these individuals go to trial. But nonetheless, I digress. As we see an individual that goes by the name of LupinFan83 went on to post underneath KamehaCon, as KamehaCon addressed Vic Mignogna having to be there and apologizing to fans, we see how this individual took the original tweet and translating it differently, as it goes on to state, and I quote, "Don't be mean to us because we invited Nick to our con. Yes, he was accused of harassing co-workers over the years. Yes, we heard about the unwanted touching at other cons, but in our defense, money." And that isn't the case at all. Once again, another individual having to take the context of what KamehaCon had posted and switching that to further their own narrative and making it seem like now the convention is wrong, when I will go as far as to say right now, I defend KamehaCon's stance. The fans of Dragon Ball defend KamehaCon's stance. The fans of Vic Mignogna defend KamehaCon's stance. So by you having to take a tweet and then translate it to suit your own narrative, it really just goes as far as to show that it's quite interesting to see where people like you stand, especially in a situation like this. But it doesn't end there, as another individual that goes by the name of John Toei went on to post on Twitter, and I quote, "Another cool way to exemplify the boys club Dragon Ball fan base loves to be, just ignoring the safety of women as a whole and inviting some nasty-ish into their doors in terms of the man himself and the attendees and their interactions with him." As it continues, "You've alienated such a good chunk of your own effing fan base now. I've always entertained the idea of attending, but not anymore. I've had many uncomfortable situations, even physically in real life, with other DB fans, so this is really disgusting. Even regardless of the man himself being there, you are inviting his fanboys who believe that assaults are fine. You're inviting people to physically see him and tell him that his actions are fine. You're telling female attendees that assault at cons are fine. Cool, when that isn't the case at all. Again, you're going based off of hearsay without empirical evidence. And of course, we are going to go through with that once we do see them go to court, and even if he's found guilty, then yes, you are absolutely right. But what happens when you're wrong? What happens if the man is found innocent? Are you going to come out and publicly apologize for being stupid? No, you're not, because you're still going to demonize the guy. You're still going to think that apologies in 2019 aren't good enough for you, and you want people to bow down and suck the crap that's coming out of your ass, and it's egregious. It's egregious to see the way people are. I get it if the guy was proven to be guilty, but by having people simply point the finger and accusing him of being guilty without any evidence, we're basically living during the Salem witch trials. So anybody here can be accused of being a witch. All you have to do is point the finger and cry witch, and that's it. We're gonna go on ahead and burn him to the stake? What sense does that make? But again, as you guys can see, people are incredibly mad for whatever reason that Vic Mignogna is attending KamehaCon, and I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below about this. What are your overall thoughts on the individuals that do go against Vic Mignogna? What are your overall thoughts on the entire situation as a whole? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Once more, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on this channel, turn on all notifications, follow me on Twitter at UnrealNetwork, to where you guys can go ahead and tag me on any articles or posts you guys want me to cover and look at, and of course subscribe to my main channel at UnrealNetwork for more awesome Dragon Ball and gaming related content that you won't find on here. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once more, tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.
And I want to say this. I've been a very big critic of companies, and in this context, the cons and so forth, for immediately leaping to judgment without even bothering to get the other side of the story, just cutting people loose and everything. The problem is not so much that they do that. I mean, their motives are typically, I don't think, particularly sinister. They're just trying to make sure that they're, that their business will survive. But they're enabling and even encouraging more of the same. And it's like feeding piranhas in your swimming pool. So, sooner or later, if you try to go swimming, and I want to personally, take my metaphorical hat off to KamehaCon. As a business owner myself, and you are too, Nick, as well as I do that actually taking a risk like this, even if it's the principled thing to do, even if it's the right thing to do, takes no small amount of courage, because this is risky on their part. They really don't know how the fans are going to react. Now, you and I believe that they're going to be shocked at how positive the reaction is, but they don't know that. So to the KamehaCon guys, I want to quote General Patton and just say, well done, you magnificent bastards. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a little bit of a leap of faith, right? Because what I was getting at is the traditional sort of model of thinking about these things says, okay, we have to capitulate, and if we capitulate, we'll go under the radar. I propose that we've seen some examples out there of companies that resist that capitulation. Mm-hmm. They stand up to the mob, and they do better than they otherwise would have.